Alright, welcome back to part 2 of characterizing quadratic function. So let's go right ahead on finding the vertex of a quadratic function if we're not given the graph. Just recall back just a second. What does a vertex mean? Alright, well, let me zoom this in really quick so you guys can see this a little bit better. Slide it up. Well, a vertex is the highest or lowest point on a parabola. So it's the highest or lowest point on a parabola. Alright, so let's go to example 1 and 2 and use what we know about the axis of symmetry and try to find the vertex of this quadratic function. So example 1, you're given y is equal to negative x squared minus 4x. So step number 1 to find the vertex of a parabola of a quadratic function, you have to find the x coordinate of the axis of symmetry. So we just learned how to find the axis of symmetry, so let's do that really quick again. We need our a. A is a number right under the x squared, and since there's no number in front of it, we know that that's a 1, so that'll be negative 1. And then our b is a number right in front of the x, b will equal negative 4. And then we're going to use a formula. X is equal to negative b over 2a to get our axis of symmetry. So we know that negative b is negative 4 over 2a. 2 times a, and a is our negative 1. So let's simplify that. So we have a negative times a negative, that gives us a positive. So that will equal to positive 4 over 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2. And if we simplify that, 4 over negative 2 is, that would be x is equal to negative 2. So we found the axis of symmetry, which is x is equal to negative 2, and this is what we wanted for step number 1. Step number 2, we want to find the corresponding y coordinate. By substituting the x value into the equation. So if you look up above, right next to example 1, we were given the equation right up here. Y is equal to negative x squared minus 4x. So I'll just copy that equation down just so you guys can see it. Y is equal to negative x squared minus 4x. So what we want to do here is substitute this x, this negative 2, into everywhere that we see an x. So everywhere we see an x, I'm going to replace that with negative 2 so we can get our y. So we're going to have y is equal to negative. Instead of the x, I'm going to put a negative 2 square minus 4x, but instead of the x, I'm going to put a negative 2. Alright, so I'm running out of room here, so I'm just going to do some mental math really quick. So we know that negative 2 squared is 4. So negative times a positive 4 would be a negative 4. Take away 4 times a negative 2. That would be, a negative 4 times a negative 2, which is a negative 8. So we have a negative 4 plus a negative 8. And that's going to give us a positive 4 for what our y is equal to. So I'm going to slide this up just a bit. Alright, so step number 3. We're going to write the coordinate. So remember, when we write a coordinate, first coordinate is x, the second value is y. So here, if we look back up here, our x value was -2. So write a -2 down. And then our y value was 4. So our vertex would be, for this parabola, will be -2, 4. And again, you're like, Mr. Laura, how do you know if I'm right? Go ahead and back and look at Desmos and type in the equation y is equal to -x squared minus 4, and then plug in this point, and you should see that this point here, that -2, 4, should be your vertex. Alright, so let me take the one that I did in Desmos, we'll zoom it right out. You can see that this is our equation. -x squared minus 4x gave us this green parabola. And at the point -2, 4, we start here in the center, -2 on the x, up 4, and it does look like we are at the vertex, or right at the peak of this parabola. Alright, so I encourage you to pause the video and try example 2 on your own and see, and also check on Desmos and see if you got the same answer as Desmos, and then come back and check with me and see if you got the same thing as me as well too. Alright, hopefully you gave that a shot. Alright, so example 2. So first we're going to find the x coordinate of the axis of symmetry. Again, we're going to find our A. Our A is 5, and our B is -10. We're going to use our equation. X is equal to -b over 2a. So if we substitute the variables into the equation, we'll get negative times -10 over 2 times our a. The a is 5. If we simplify that, a negative times a negative will give us a positive. So we'll have a positive 10 on top, and 2 times 5 will give us 10. So here we simplify that one more time. We get x is equal to 1. And that's what we want for step number 1. X equals to 1. Step number 2, we're going to find the corresponding y coordinate by substituting the x value into the equation. So our equation, if you look back right next to equation, example 2 up here, our equation is y is equal to 5x squared minus 10x plus 3. So I'll write that down again. Y is equal to 5x squared minus 10x plus 3. And let's substitute the variables in. Y is equal to 5x. So instead of the x, I'm going to just put down a 1 square minus 10. Instead of the x, I'm going to put down a 1 plus 3. So let's simplify that. Y is equal to 1 squared is just 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. Negative 10 times 1 is just 10 plus 3. So let's do a little mental math here really quick. 5 take away 10 is a -5. Negative 5 plus 3 will give us a -2. I'm just going to rewrite this -2 in blue just so we can color coordinate this. Alright, step number 3. So we're going to write the coordinates. So the vertex for this quadratic function is, remember, our x coordinates comes first, and then our y coordinates come second. So our x value was up here in step number 1. X is equal to 1. And our y coordinate is in step number 2 here, which x is equal to -2. Alright, so I can't show you Desmos because I reached the 10-minute mark, so I had to cut the video off. And if you want to see on Desmos, you can come by and ask me, or I can show it to you in class. Alright, well, you have a great day. Bye-bye.